everyone. Today we'll be going over on why antibiotics should not be used in food animals. This is group number 3, Animal Science 67, Section 2, and I will be presenting currently. My name is Cara Gonzalez, and the other presenters are Charlie N. Baptista and Jodeci A. Weems, and the date, April 22nd, 2021. So to start off, what are antibiotics on animals? Antibiotics are used on animals to treat and prevent disease and to enhance their growth. Different forms of use: there's therapeutic, prophylactic, which is to prevent disease, and subtherapeutic, which treats the disease. So antibiotics are used on livestock animals that humans eat, such as beef, cattle, swine, turkeys, and chicken. So the history of antibiotic use. Antibiotics have been used on animals for nearly 30 years and counting. Discovery in the 1940s that feeding subtherapeutic levels of antibiotics improved feed efficiency and accelerated animal growth. Around the 1940s is when antibiotics were first widely used, and the unethical aspect involved in animal use. There are growing levels of antibiotic-resistant bacteria in the environment. In 2013, scientists still argued about the dangers of bacterial resistance, meaning that the overuse of antibiotics leads to superbugs that can be passed to humans that causes serious illness as medical advances can be reversed. This basically means that the medicines we have now, they may not work on those who are infected with a new superbug. So for instance, we would basically have to run tests to find a new medicine that will help this much more complex strain of bacteria. So for instance, the coronavirus pandemic, scientists had to research new medicines and create a new vaccine to treat those ill, because there were different strains forming.
Hello, my name is Jodeci Weems, and I'm going to be talking about what is currently being done. Consumers are driving up the demand for meat without the routine use of antibiotics by asking questions and learning more about the use of antibiotics in animals. To further demonstrate the demand from consumers, we can see that the global organic beef market has seen quite a substantial growth these last few years and is predicted to only further increase in the future. We also know that many countries have taken part in reducing the use of antibiotics used in food-producing animals. For example, Europe, which is home to 24% of the world's organic farmland. Germany is Europe's largest organic product market, making sales of about $7 billion every year, with an average growth of 15%. It also helps that Germany has a history of green politics, and 90% of Germans said they approved the organic foods, while 70% stated they would never consider buying genetically modified foods. Food chains are also adopting policies for antibiotic-free meat, like Chipotle and Panera Bread. There has been alternate options to using antibiotics in animals for disease prevention, like improving hygiene and changes in animal housing, as proper housing of animals' facilities are essential to the well-being of the animal. And we have what is called a microenvironment, and this is the physical environment immediately surrounding the animal. This is also known as the primary enclosure, like a cage, pen, or a stall. And it's important that primary enclosures are constructed with the proper materials that fit the needs of the animal and provide the proper sanitation for the animal. I will now be talking about the cultural importance. Antibiotic resistance, or ABR, is the main problematic factor for antibiotics used in animals. Antibiotic resistance is what happens when bacteria and fungi develop the ability to defeat the drugs that are developed to kill them. This means that the germs that aren't killed will continue to grow, and infections caused by these antibiotic-resistant germs are hard and at times even impossible to treat, which means extended hospital stays for people and expensive alternatives. Though there is evidence that antibiotic resistance in food animals can result in antibiotic resistance in humans, and it has existed for decades, like penicillin, which was the first commercialized antibiotic discovered in 1928, and ever since there has been discovery and acknowledgement of resistance. Germs are always looking to find a way to survive, and do this by resisting new drugs created. And it's hard for people to keep up with because these germs share the resistance with one another. ABR can be spread along the food chain through direct or indirect contact from animals or animal byproducts to humans. It is one of the world's most public urgent health problems, and every year at least 2.8 million people are infected with antibiotic-resistant bacteria in the US alone, and 35,000 or more people die as a result. Though no one can completely avoid the risk of these resistant infections, practicing proper hygiene and sanitation can greatly help. I will now be going over the sociological importance. Sociocultural aspects are the greatest influence on the use of antibiotics in animals. As one of the most important aspects of laws in democratic societies, it is that there must be an acceptance and approval by the community, and the acceptance and want for a reduction on antibiotics used in food animals comes from the knowledge of knowing the greater negative effect it can have on people. So, if someone disagreed with the use of antibiotics in animals and told others why, it opens a door for people to accept and change their viewpoints. Reduced antibiotic consumption has begun occurring in a variety of different countries, based on the changes of different individuals' behaviors towards the matter. These changes in behavior can be associated with educating oneself on the situation in hand, as well as spreading information and informing others to take preventative measures.
This is Charlie Baptista reading the next few slides. Forms and types of antibiotic use on animals. Since the 1940s, antibiotics have been given to farm animals like cattle, pigs, and poultry in order to treat infections or to prevent illnesses from spreading. Low doses of antibiotics are also added to animal feed to promote growth. This can sometimes mean a greater production of meat or milk in shorter periods of time. Antibiotics are given to animals in a few different ways. Some are shots under the skin or muscularly, pill form, in their drinking water, or in their food. Below is a list of different types of antibiotics used, common ones that are used in animals. The next slide is informed opinion. Using antibiotics in animals may raise the risk of transmitting the drug-resistant bacteria to humans, either by direct infection or by transferring resistance genes from the agriculture food animals into the human pathogen, researchers caution. A common belief is that the use of antibiotics in food animals will create a resistance to antibiotics for humans. This is why the use of antibiotics in food animals should not be allowed unless it is completely necessary.